Hey guys, Spencer Coffman here with the Internet Hustler YouTube channel. Today we are talking about a great way to protect your investments with an irrevocable asset protection trust. Welcome to the Internet Hustler YouTube channel. My name is Spencer Coffman. Today we are talking about an excellent way for you to protect your investments using something called an irrevocable asset protection trust. So let's dive into this. What is this? Well, in trust language, there are a few different things. You should already have something called a living trust. Now, this is a revocable trust. Revocable means it can be changed. If you don't have that living trust, check out this video here that will explain what it is, and then also how to get it. You can contact me and I can refer you to a great place to get that done at a very reasonable price. You can also comment down below saying, hey, I want the living trust, and then I can help you get in contact with someone that I trust to create your trust. And so this is a different type of trust. This is an irrevocable asset protection trust, which means once you set it up, it cannot be changed. And so this is something where right now, if you're investing in things like stocks, cryptocurrency, or even real estate, different things that are worth money, if you ever get into any type of legal trouble, you're sued from your business, or you cause a 10-car pileup, or anything, someone slips on your sidewalk. In today's world, there are so many people that want to come after your money. And so if they say, hey, we know this guy's got $1 million umbrella insurance policy, so we're going to go after him for that, and we see that he's got $5 million in different investments, and we're going to take all of it, and we're going to garnish his wages as well. And so if you want to protect yourself from that, which you hopefully should, if you have any type of investments, you want to protect yourself from that, then you need to transfer it into this irrevocable asset protection trust. And so let's talk a little bit about what this is. So essentially, this is a way to structure your investments so that you don't own them anymore. Now, that doesn't mean you're giving them away. What it means is that instead of the investment being in your name, this investment is now in the name of this trust. And so if you ever get called to court, if anything ever happens and they say, what is your net worth? You can say, well, my bank account has X amount in it, and my individual retirement account has X amount in it. And that's it. And if they say, well, don't you have any stock investments? Don't you have any crypto investments? Don't you have this? We see you have these apps on your phone. You can say, nope, I don't. I manage them, but I don't own them. And you can say that legally, and you can swear to it that you don't own them, but really you manage them, and whose are they then? Well, they're the property of that trust. But the way that this trust is set up is that it is this property, this money, this finance, these investments, these assets are in this trust, and you manage them, but that means you can distribute them. So if you ever want to take money out, you just transfer it right out into you. You can write yourself a check from the trust account, and it can go to your personal self, so you could pay yourself disbursements. So when you come to retirement and you need to start taking out that money, you can do so without any problem. And if any bank asks about anything, then you have these documents that show you are in charge of the distributions of that trust. Now, there are a few caveats with this type of a trust. They can only be set up in certain states. In addition, one of the managers of the trust has to be a resident of the state. So how do you get around that type of a thing? You can live in any state and not worry. You just have to hire a company to create this trust for you, and it's this law firm. And so you have them, since you need to make sure they have an office in that state. And so as long as they have an office in the state, then they can be listed on your trust as a caretaker of it, which you have them on there anyway. They created it, they're in charge of it. If you ever needed to do anything or had any questions on it, you're going to contact your attorney about it anyway. And so if you need an attorney to contact about that, or you need someone to set it up, I have someone that I really trust and that they could do it for you, and again at a very reasonable price, exactly like your living trust. So if you have investments, that's something that you should do. Now, how much should you have before it becomes worth it? Because to create this trust at this point in time is anywhere from about $1,500 to $2,000. And so in addition to that, every single year you need to pay them to maintain this trust, because it's an irrevocable asset protection trust. It's different than your living trust that once it's created, it's just there. This one has to be maintained, managed. It'll have to file a tax return because it's investments. And so that is another expense that you're going to have. You're going to have to file a tax return, and a trust is going to be taxed differently than your personal self. So that's going to be different. You're going to probably have to pay a little bit more in taxes on that as well. So you need to have a good accountant to help you take care of that and make sure that you're not paying too much taxes. And then you're going to have to make sure that the attorney knows your situation when they create this trust, so that they can word the trust in a certain way to make sure that you are not paying through the nose in taxes through this trust. So it has to be maintained. So there's an annual some expense with that. You have to file a tax return, so that's going to be something to consider, and you have the startup cost. And so at what dollar amount does it make sense that it's worth it? Generally, I would say anywhere between $100,000 and $200,000. So if you have about $150,000 in investments, now that means any brokerage accounts, crypto accounts, etc. Your IRA or your Roth IRA is an individual retirement account. So Roth IRAs, they're already protected. Someone can't sue and go after that. It's separated. You can't put that inside of this trust. This is specifically for other accounts, traditionally taxed accounts. So anything that would be traditionally taxed, like stock exchanges, mutual funds, things like that, that you could put in this trust. You could put real estate, if you have a bunch of vehicles or something, assets, traditional assets. So it's an asset protection trust. And so when you have about $150,000 of worth, then it would be worth it. Then typically or always, you're going to need a bank account for this trust that's separate. So then anytime you want to put money into your investments, you would write out a personal check, or you do an EFT, an electronic funds transfer, from your personal checking account into the trust account, and then from the trust account into the brokerage account. And so yes, it's another step, but it's a layer of protection. And so then everything is going from the brokerage account into the trust account, and from the trust account into the brokerage account, and then any disbursements, of course, would go into the trust account, and then from the trust account into your personal account. So you're completely separated. It's almost like it's another person that you're adding to the equation, but the other person is really just kind of like a clone of yourself over here. And so that trust account at most banks has to have about $1,500 in the account in order for the fees to be waived. Otherwise, you're going to have some type of monthly maintenance fee or something like that. So keep that in mind, that you need to have $1,500 just sitting there, literally doing nothing. So it's not invested, it's not making any money, it's just sitting there holding the place, which is kind of inconvenient, which is why it's a good idea to wait until your account is up to about $150,000, because then you're going to have about a $1,500 expense. At this point in time, of course, everything is going up, so keep that in mind, but about a $1,500 to $2,000 expense to create it. You're going to have $1,500 in the account, and then you're going to have annual maintenance fees to maintain it of about probably $500 with between the tax return and the maintenance of keeping the trust active. So, you know, you're figuring $500 a year, you're figuring $1,500 in the bank account and another $1,500 to start it up. It's not a cheap thing to do, but if you have $150,000 or more to protect, spending $3,000 is definitely worth it to make sure that someone doesn't come and snatch that money from you. So if you have any questions, please comment below. In addition, if you want to talk to someone about it, let me know and I can get you the name of the attorney. That'll have to be done through a message or something, because I don't just want to post that freely down below, because it's a referral, and I don't want them to be flooded with a bunch of random questions that I could simply answer through the comments below. So if you're serious about getting it, contact me. You can do that on social media, Instagram, or even an email. My contact is in my YouTube channel. A comment below with your contact and I could reach out to you. So there's a way to make that happen, and I can get you their name and their number, and you can call them and speak to them about getting this set up to protect your assets. So it's definitely something that you want to have set up properly, because if you don't, someday it could all go away and you could lose it, and that would be very, very devastating, not only for you but also for the family that you have, that you wanted to leave that as an inheritance someday. So having an irrevocable asset protection trust is something that is very, very worthwhile. How else can you protect your assets? We're going to talk about that in another video, so stay tuned for that. Right up here in a card, we're going to talk about a few great methods to protect your assets coming up, so stay tuned for that. Until next time.